the one message that we want to make sure that we give, the only serious mistake that we make is to give up on our abilities to change. And the only serious mistake we can make is to give up on our abilities to change. And so our program is going to be that we're going to work together to make sure that neither one of us give up on our abilities to change.
If you have a chance to ever hear Jim speak, he's been an inspiration to me. And now he really wants to devote the rest of his life to the application. So the work that we are doing nationally is really synced in with what he wants to do, because he's been a researcher all of his life, an author, and now he'd really like to take that and see it really being used, being applied to the state of Washington and other places. So that's the first research piece that we tapped into for the last 10 or 15 years and all of the work that we've done. Second one is called motivational interviewing. Can I see a raise of hands? Has anyone ever heard of that, motivational interviewing? All right, good. Bill Miller with the University of New Mexico is a very special guy. He's written a lot of books. All of his things have been researched over and over again. The use of motivational interviewing works in all these areas, once again, that you have an interest in. An evidence-based approach to overcoming the ambivalence that keeps people from making desired changes in their lives. That's what he focuses on. One of the things that came to my mind is in the trans-theoretical model of change, it really focuses on self-change. With Bill Miller's work, it's major if it's really looking at how you help others make a change. It's kind of what are the tools. If you want to support someone else's self-change, how do you go about doing that? We've simplified some of this for the work that we do, but those are saying it's all about willing, able, and ready. When a person is making a change, they need to have a perceived importance towards it, the self-efficacy, the confidence for change, and then it's ready. How does this compare to other things that I have an interest in doing? It's all about the ambivalence. This whole idea, I want to do this, but I don't want to do this. And I'm sure each of you in your own lives, it just goes on constantly and constantly. It's this thing, I want to do it, but I don't want to.
One of the big patterns that Bill Miller talks a lot about is many of us, when we're trying to make a life change, what we do is we start to think we need to make the change. And so we focus on that a little bit. Then we think about all the reasons why we don't want to change. And so then we focus on that a little bit, and then we quit thinking about it. Right? And then a year or so goes along, and then here we go again. You look at the New Year's resolutions are a wonderful example of this. How many times do you, before that New Year's resolution comes around, you start thinking about it, and then about the time it's time to start, you start thinking about how, well, it's not that bad. I don't need to do it that much. Then you quit thinking about it again for a whole year, then you start again at the beginning of the next year.
This is a great line. Bill Miller is all about dancing with someone, not wrestling. And it just, whether it's your spouse, matter of fact, Frankie heard me on the phone with my wife, and kept saying, dance with her, dance with her. It was a budget matter.
How's that temper going?
Thank you for that. But in your mindset, if you just really think about the whole dancing part, when you have a very close friend, when you have a colleague at work, Bill Miller would be teaching you how to dance, not how to wrestle. So motivational interviewing helps employees develop the discrepancies between how their health behavior is now and how they wish it to be. If you look at the trans-theoretical model of change and then Bill Miller's work, one of the things, the difference between people who are successful in changing their behaviors and those that fail time and time again, based on what we've just seen here, to generalize, people who front load their wish to change are the winners. In other words, people who stay in contemplation and preparation before they start into the action state are those more apt to make positive and permanent life change. As Frankie was saying, the New Year's resolution people don't cut it. It's people who really study it to say, yeah, I really say I'm going to lose some things because I just love that apple cobbler or whatever, but I'm going to gain some things, and really evaluate it up front. Then when the challenge comes, when the issues come up, then they're able, they've already made up, they've done the contemplating, they've done the preparation of saying, well, I can change this way, this way, this one fits me the best. So the people who are in a hurry about basic life changes are typically the people that fail. If you can get people to start to think about it and spend some time in the contemplative preparation state, they are, the research would say they're much more apt to change and to keep that change going. Yes?
And just the little bit I know about this too, it's one of the reasons when you go to your doctor and you're diagnosed with something that you're not successful is because it's fear-based. They tell you you're going to die because your blood sugar is 300. And so, of course, you want to change because you're going to die. But you don't understand what's in it for me to make the change. There's so much more from you're diabetic to you're going to die that the motivation is short-lived because it is such a hill that you have to climb and you're not ready for it.
That is such an important point. You need to attract people. And in the afternoon, we'll show you how a lot of that. One of the cases, we do a lot with, we work with about 30 states in their program of impaired driving, when people get picked up for drunken driving. What do they do with that group for the 24 hours or whatever? And what you're saying, what they do is they show these movies of these huge crashes and people dying and burning up and so forth. And it doesn't do anything for that very point. They can't put their mindset that that's me. So it's actually negative. It does more harm than good, rather than building on this basic thing. Hey, you know, you can probably drink, you can probably drive, you just don't want to do those, things together. It's fascinating how over 20 years I've learned if it's corporate change, if it's drug and alcohol issues, if it's criminogenic thinking, if it's people with diabetes, heart disease, if it's obese people, change is change. The same rules, the same structures apply to all of this, which really makes it exciting for us because as we cross over, we can take some things that we learned from over here and move them over here.
Yeah, well, the other piece that you're mentioning here is what we would term you got to resist the righting reflex, meaning that if you're the individual arguing for change with somebody else that needs to make the change, they will inadvertently pick up the opposite side of the argument. So if I'm telling you, you really just need to drop 10 pounds. If I'm your physician and I'm telling you, you need to exercise and get healthier, I'm taking up all the good lines for your argument for change. So what do you have left? What you have left is to say, I don't have time to exercise. It's going to hurt. I'm not going to do that kind of stuff. That's not who I am. And so you have to resist what we would term the righting reflex, meaning that anytime you're talking to somebody who you see or recognize in need of making some type of behavior change, you have to not steal the lines that they need to take, which is that I really would like to make some changes for you. All right, you want to be the cheerleader that supports that and walks along with the person, not the person that tells them that they need to make the change. Understanding the employee's motivation. Here's the key. We're all motivated for something. Your job as somebody who's working with a group of other coworkers is to find out what it is that they're motivated for. You can't determine what their motivation is. Your job is to then investigate what is that motivation. And you want to tap into that and bring it out. The key skill here is what we would term reflective listening. You want to hear them, you want to give them back what you're hearing from them, you want to acknowledge their effort and participation, to let you know what it is that they would like to do different. And then finally, your whole goal here is to empower the employee. I have heard a lot of this grassroots type of a discussion about it needs to come from down below and move its way. That's exactly what we're talking about. The whole idea of empowering a group of employees to move that process of change forward.